Here's a few tips for anyone who's planning on building an exterior stairway or even maintaining one. First thing I'd like to point out is this stairway has no protection. There is no roof or overhang to protect it from the weather. It is exposed to the elements all day long. When it rains, this stairway is going to get wet. If it snows, this stairway is going to get wet. If it's hot, then this stairway is going to have any moisture that is in the wood evaporate as fast as it can, which would cause the stair stringers to shrink. Is this a big deal? Well, you're going to see in a few minutes just what is actually a big deal and what isn't. First up on the list is any sprinkler. And here it is right here. The white arrow is pointing to a sprinkler that soaks the entire stairway whenever it runs, and who knows how long the water is going to sit on the concrete, sit in the soil, remain in the soil, which will eventually be absorbed into the concrete, creating more of a problem. And this is a problem a lot of people really don't get. If you have soil that is wet and remains wet for long periods of time, this moisture will absorb into the concrete. If you have any wood sitting on top of that concrete, then that wood will also absorb the moisture. So it might be something you can't see, but the end result will end up with something like this. Here you go, a damaged stairway. You can see the lower tread is warped, twisted, whatever. It's actually loose because the lags are the screws that are attaching the treads to the wood stringers are no longer holding. That is because it is already suffering from wood rot due to the moisture. This is the biggest problem you're going to run into with an exterior stairway. Next on the list will be the curb or area that the concrete is either buried or raised above the soil. And as you can see here on the left side of the stairway, we have about 2 or 3 inches, but that isn't the case on the right side. The grass looks like it's almost growing up next to the concrete. It's almost even with the concrete pad that the stairway is sitting on. And this wouldn't be as big of a problem if it wasn't for the hillside here that will consistently, regularly drain water off of it onto the concrete. And again, all it would take is someone to go in with a shovel and lower the area around the pad, the concrete pad the stairway sits on, to divert at least most of the water, or as much as you possibly can, away from the stair stringers. And so again, should this have been a metal stairway? Probably. If this was a metal stairway, you probably wouldn't be facing as many problems. But don't forget, and this is important, metal rusts. It starts to deteriorate when it's wet. Also, it just might take a little longer, but at the same time, these stairways are also going to be a little more pricey. One more thing I'd like to point out is this particular stairway is buried between 2 buildings and rarely gets much sunlight. And this, of course, creates, or should I say, adds to the problem if you have moisture. If this stairway was in the direct sun most of the day and it was moist, then the sunlight would be pounding on the stairway and absorbing the moisture, getting it out of there, evaporating it out of the parts that are wet. However, this isn't the problem. So realistically, if you have a wood stairway, wood stringers, wood steps, any part of the stairway that is wood, and it is in an area that doesn't receive a lot of sunlight, exposed to the elements, heat, water, snow, ice, and of course is getting pounded by sprinklers regularly, or creating or problems created by landscaping, sloping hills, or anything, even drains in the wrong spot, plumbing, hose bibs, you name it, anything like that. These are all things you should consider when designing or thinking about remodeling or even replacing a set of stairs like this.